On this episode of the Ask Mike Reinold Show, we talk about the American Kettlebell swing, some of our favorite exercises, and should athletic trainers go back to physical therapy school. Yeah. The Ask Mike Reinold Show. Helping people feel better, move better, and perform better. Welcome back, everybody, to the latest episode of the Ask Mike Reinold Show. We got a great episode today. We're going to talk about some great questions with our guest star of the episode, Sarah Polacco. What's up, Sarah?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Sarah is a strength coach at Achieve Fitness in Somerville, Boston. No, not Somerville, Boston. Somerville, Massachusetts, which is right outside Boston for those that don't know. But she works at a gym with our friends Jason and Lauren of Achieve Fitness, who have probably one of the gyms I respect the most, really anywhere, let alone kind of in this area. So good friends of ours. So Sarah's one of their highly skilled strength coaches. She's going to join us for some questions today. Got Lenny Macrina from Champion as usual, and for the first time, we had two students now. So two students at the show. So what's up, guys?
How's it going?
We're pretty good.
Great.
So Nick Schumacher.
Schumacher,
I'm just kidding. We were just teasing him about that. The Schumacher. The Schumacher. We had Nick here from BU, Boston University, joining us again, and we have a new one now. We have Evan Hogger from Sac State in California. So one of his professors is a good friend of Lenny and I's, Rafael Escamilla, but really good program out there in Sac State. So he's in Boston with us for a little bit. So we have two students now.
Yeah, unusual. It's very unusual that we have two students. So,
I like it. It's pretty good. How do we decide how they? Why we have more than one therapist? Why can't we have two students?
we have a very small space, so we're very limited.
I thought there was something you're trying to hide.
No.
They're not being viewed,
So how do we decide who reads the questions? What do we do?
I think
episodes,
they
maybe?
thumb wrestled or something like that.
Yeah, I won the thumb wrestle.
You already thumb wrestled?
Well, yesterday.
I want to see. No, that was for something else.
Okay.
Thumb wrestle. So you go.
Cheating with me. Go.
Yeah, undefeated.
Uh-oh.
Send us a little
It's gonna be a
helper.
3 count.
Okay.
3 count. 1, 2, 3. Nick loses. All right, Evan,
Again.
you're up.
Sweet.
What do we got today?
Here we go. First question. What are some of your favorite exercises you often recommend for your fitness clients? And then second part to that, what have the biggest bang for your buck?
All right, so what are some of our favorite exercises for our clients in the gym that have the biggest bang for the buck? Why don't we go, I don't know, you want to pick a couple? We'll go around the room. I want to hear from you guys too. Sarah, you want to start?
So we always write programs for everybody, so nobody's doing anything random, so we always make sure that it's really well programmed. But I think the two that have the biggest bang for their buck are a kettlebell swing and a Turkish get-up. It really covers everything. You get power, you get strength out of it, you get lower body, upper body, core. It's the biggest bang for your buck.
All right, so kettlebell swings, Turkish get-ups. What's the percentage of your clientele that get those?
That get those, so we start them off very early. It also depends on the individual very much of what their goals are, how skilled they are with fitness, like how long they've been working out. But we'll start them off really easy with the Turkish get-up because there's a lot of steps. So we might have them do step 1 and 2 in their first program, and then we'll do 3, 4 the next, and just kind of tax it on. Same thing with a swing. We'll have them do an intro class. So take real time to give it to them step by step, and then they can do it in their class or do it in a program.
So the majority of your clients will get them eventually. It's
Majority.
just when do they get them?
Yeah.
I guess that
Exactly.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
there's some things you want to do. All right, so let's talk about each then. So the swing. Why is it so bang for your buck?
So the swing is awesome because it gets you power and strength and really works on lower body. So thing with a swing is you can not deadlift for like months and work on swings and your deadlift will go up. You're also going to really get good core workout while you're doing a kettlebell swing because you have to stay really tight at the top of the kettlebell swing. And yeah, they're just awesome and fun.
Okay, and then how about the get-up then? Why is the get-up so bang for your buck, just to use that terminology?
So the get-up, for anybody who doesn't know what a Turkish get-up is you basically start lying down on the ground and you go up to a standing position and then go back down to the ground while holding a kettlebell overhead. So it might not be ideal for somebody who doesn't have very good overhead mobility, but for the rest of the population, it's really good because you're focused on going through each step. So you basically have to go, it's really working on coordination, but you have to use every single part of your body in order to get from the ground up
Right.
and then back down again.
Yeah, I like that, and I would say that's, that makes sense. Like, you have to, when you're talking about general fitness, there's so much that goes into it. It's not just strength, it's not just power, it's not just agility or endurance or whatever it may be. And something like the get up would be something that requires a lot of those to kind of work together to master, I guess.
Exactly.
So if you get good at that, you end up getting good at a lot of things.
Exactly.
So-
I like that because, like you said, a lot of people don't have that overhead mobility, so they're working towards doing a full get up. So you are working towards improving their overhead mobility and then breaking down the get up into its, many pieces, and then you can work on stuff that way. And then they see other people doing a full get up, and like they say, I want to do that, and it turns into like a fun time and a progressive, thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
But to answer my question,
I wanna hear yours.
my PT side, so I get away from that, is
The question was fitness, man, but
correct.
I like this.
But I want
Add
the PT side.
I like that.
Squat and a hip hinge, a hinge pattern. So
Why?
I think squatting is functional. Obviously, every day we're squatting and anything, sitting and standing. So I think that's an important thing. Working on quads, hips. We're always working on that as PTs. Most people that we see have some kind of knee pain, knee surgery, something like that, so improving that. And then also the hip hinge pattern will help to break down, we'll get to the very core of, say, a kettlebell swing or a deadlift. And I think that's a tough concept for people to understand, is to get the, did I just do that? I think I just did that. The hip hinge pattern.
And drew attention to it.
People don't understand how to do it. So I think for me, it's fun to break it down and to improve that for people.
That makes
and then
sense.
I can progress into high level stuff.
Yeah, and I think you said it really well at the beginning. It's functional, right? So squatting
Right.
and hinging are functional. We hinge real poorly. So,
Right.
just as a society, we're not hinging well because we're sitting and we have crappy posture all the time. So, what do you guys think? You guys have any opinions? If you had to pick one from the student's perspective,
Just like total
biggest
muscle
bang for your
mass.
buck.
I love the single arm snatch,
Okay.
just because.
Wow. I wasn't expecting
I know you didn't see that coming, did you?
No, not at all.
Love that exercise. It's explosive, but it's not as technical as a barbell snatch.
Right.
And
so
it's
you're
six-
using a kettlebell or
So
a
you're talking
dumbbell.
Or a
Like kettlebell
dumbbell.
or dumbbell?
Yeah, dumbbell.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also like it's explosive, like a clean, but you're not going to those provocative, wrist extended positions that are difficult to train and tough for your overhead athletes to get into.
What do you think, Evan?
So I think I would go back. I would go with the kettlebell swing.
Yeah.
For a lot of
you're
the
going to
same
agree.
reasons. I
Oh,
am,
you
I'm
can't agree.
agreeing.
I thought we had to come
Yeah.
up with something new. No, it makes. I mean, it is. It's a huge bang for your buck
Right.
exercise because
Yeah.
it has so much in it. I guess heck, you guys are stealing all the good answers. I'll just do it kind of quick and just be contrarian. Maybe I don't know if that's the right terminology for this, but how about just like shoulder external rotation? So
An upper body exercise.
something really lame, but
Yeah.
I think that's one of those things that should be in the majority of our clients' programs as as an accessory or as a warm-up or something like that. But we are so weak posteriorly with the shoulder that shoulder external rotation just becomes so key to be able to stabilize overhead and to do all these other things. It's to me it's one of the easiest kind of low-hanging fruit to kind of grab. So I guess I'd say that, but I don't know. All right, what's
Alright.
next, Evan? What do you
So,
think?
The next question?
Yeah, sure.
So the segue was for the kettlebell thing. So this question is from Tony in Toronto. What are your thoughts on the American kettlebell swing versus traditional kettlebell swing? And then second part, is there a difference? And do you prefer one over the other?
Okay, I like that question. All right, so
Tony, we just discussed this Monday in our staff meeting.
Oh, that's right, we did. I
It
forgot
didn't
about
come
that.
up.
yeah, so yeah.
Good timing, Tony.
All right, so what's the difference between the American kettlebell swing and what's our preferences? So, Sarah, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure.
I think we all agree, but
Yeah.
let's hear it from your perspective.
So the big difference is that with a Russian style kettlebell swing, you stop, you don't go any higher than the shoulder height. With American style, you go all the way up overhead. I strongly prefer the Russian style. Russians have been doing kettlebell swings since like the 1800s, maybe even the 1700s. And then I think the kettlebells came to the US in like 50 years ago. And then Americans were just like, we're going to change this because why not? They've been doing it this way for a long time for a reason. When you go into overhead, this is not a very good position for your shoulders, so it can be damaging, and it also tends to put people into extension, which can then hurt your low back. And also, if you wanted to go into an overhead position, you might as well just do a kettlebell snatch, which is much better being here than here. So I don't really see the point.
Definitely a better position with the snatch. Your hands just, with the American kettlebell swing, with the way your hands are positioned overhead is just super awkward. That's just not the way, it just doesn't, we don't function that well.
Yeah.
You know, in that complete sagittal plane overhead, as much as kind of more scapular, where like the snatch tends to occur like kind of more here versus completely overhead. But yeah, sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, you were just backing up exactly what I was saying. So yeah, I definitely prefer doing standard Russian style kettlebell swing.
Okay. What I mean, any other benefits you think of that? I mean, so you talked about some of the negatives of the American.
Sure.
What about benefits of the Russian?
Yeah, so you can do a lot more weight. You know, I've seen people my size, you know, I'm a $120 soaking wet, and I've seen people swing a kettlebell that's 100 pounds. You can't do that overhead. That's impossible. So you can definitely you can swing a lot more weight. It's just going to, you're not going to get hurt. You're a lot less likely to get hurt. So I think it's just overall much better exercise.
Yeah, and I think it kind of fosters a little bit more core control, so an anterior core control, so you avoid that hyperextension that you talked about as being a negative, which is a good drill. I mean, you want to do that. I think that's an important one. I would also say with the American one too, sometimes like the force vector to be able to produce that much force to get the bell all the way up overhead kind of turns a little more squatty sometimes instead of hinge based. I've seen that a little bit with the American style, but you know, yeah, it's just for me. I think, I honestly, I think you said it really well. The American seems a little bit more irritable. I think would be a good way of saying it. I don't think dangerous is the right word. It's certainly, you know, not necessarily that, but it's much easier to irritate yourself, and you lose kind of the benefits of the core control from doing the Russian style where you stop at your shoulder. So. Yeah, I think that kind of summarizes it well. I mean, we don't do American style here. Do you?
No, never.
So we do Russian style here at Champion. That's what they do at Achieve. I think that's pretty common. So that's good. And Sarah's, you have some strong first.
Nobody at
experience.
Strong First does anything overhead. That would make Pablo very mad.
Yeah. So I should have said that earlier too. But Sarah has some experience with Strong First too. Not just strength coach, but also has some additional kettlebell training that she's gone through. So I should have said that too. But yeah, no, I think that hits it pretty good. What's number 3?
So the last one's kind of a long one. I'll paraphrase a little bit, but this guy is Brad in Dayton, Ohio. He's an athletic trainer. He's been practicing for 5 years. He's taking prerequisites because he wants to go back to PT school, but he's kind of worried that that's going to waste 3 years of his life. So he wants to know your thoughts, and he wants to know if he should take the plunge or not, and then he doesn't want any PC answers.
Okay.
Personal computer?
What's a PC?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Politically correct.
He's an athletic trainer.
Athletic trainer. It
trainer,
has to
right.
take 3 years worth of.
So no, he's taking prerequisites, but he doesn't want to. He wants to know if he should go back to PT school, which would be a 3-year commitment.
Absolutely.
If you want to be a physical therapist, if
Yeah.
you'd like to be an
I
athletic
did
trainer,
that.
then don't.
Was it Brad? It was
Brad,
Maybe.
Brad. Brad, I did that. I had like a life-changing, epiphany.
But not from an athletic trainer.
No, so you have a background already. I think you have you're beating me.
You're more ideal, yeah.
I was doing research in a lab and testing wastewater in Boston, and went back to had to take all the classes to get in, all the prereqs, and then I went back in and got my it was a master's degree, so it took 2.5 years, but I think that extra half year is worth it compared to me, and come out and be a PT and use your ATC background. So
If you want to be a PT.
if you want to be a PT,
Right, yeah.
sounds like you do, and sounds like you're thinking about a career change, and depending on your private situation and finances and all that, you can handle that, but I think definitely consider it. I think it's a great profession, and I did it. I'm living it.
So you paraphrased a little bit.
Right.
Give me more info. I feel like we didn't get the full girth of what he's asking.
His disclaimer at the end is that he's proud to be an athletic trainer, but the truth is that it's going to be difficult under his current title. Which makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, heck, you should be proud to be an athletic
Yeah.
trainer. I mean, that's great. I mean, they're two different professions. I think there's some mild overlap in some of the services provided, but it's two different professions. So I wouldn't say physical therapy or athletic training is better than one another. It just goes down to what you're passionate about and what you want to do during the day. I think so. I
You
mean,
can do both. You have the beauty of like treating patients from 8 to 5, and then go covering some kind of game maybe after school, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock game on a weekend. I think it's a great thing. Use both your skills, and
yeah.
highly marketable, and clinics may want to hire you. If not, take it to a higher level with other teams and colleges. And
Yeah,
Both,
exactly.
do
If you have the resources to, become both, then now you have two professions. So I think it just comes down to what you're passionate. Don't worry about what people are telling you. Just worry about what you want to do with your life. I think that'd be a good way of saying it. So good, awesome. All right, well, thanks guys. Good work, Evan. I like it. Thank you so much to Sarah for joining us on this episode.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sarah, and we'll see you guys on the next one. So if you have any questions, just go to MikeReinold.com and click on the podcast link. Try to send us some great questions. You guys are doing a good job. And if you're enjoying the show, we'd appreciate just a little bit of a rating and maybe a review on iTunes. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks so much.